I don't know how to play Dungeons and Dragons, but the figurines on my 3D printer look really cool. Hello everybody, it's Stephen here for Bland Designs and the Idiot Quilter, and welcome to my weekly vlog for October the 18th, 2021. Vlog number 236, and it is the 586th day of COVID, or just over 19 months. Can you believe it? Yeah. Anyways, let's jump right into my latest project, and that was a quilt. Now, this is a quilt I made some time ago, pre-COVID, actually. I took a class on how to make a bargello. Bargello is a certain technique or type or style, I guess, of quilt, which is quite nice. It looks like you have curved piecing in it, but you use straight pieces. It's sort of an optical illusion. But anyways, I took a class, I made this quilt, and I never got around to quilting it. So therefore, it went into what's called my UFO file, which stands for unfinished objects. So that's where it is sat for the last basically 2 years. Well, now that I have the Lucy, I thought, yes, let's get these UFOs done in terms of quilting. And last weekend, or weekend before, was Thanksgiving here in Canada, and we were over at my sister's for dinner. And I asked my niece and my nephew what their favorite colors were. My niece's favorite color is purple. My nephew's is blue. Good choice. I love blue too. And I love purple as well. So I told them that for Christmas, I would give them both a quilt. So the Bargello one that I'm about to show you is the quilt that I did for my niece. And well, let me get it up here on the screen and show you what I'm talking about. So I finally finished one of my UFOs, and I was able to quilt this on my Lucy. I used a basic scribbles design on a pantograph. And this is a Bargello, and I made this in a class back, well, pre-COVID. And it's just been sitting around waiting to be completed. So I took the opportunity of having a long arm now to do so, and this is going to be a Christmas gift to my niece. Her favorite color is purple, and although this has many colors in it, the wide outside border is in purple, and I think it's a good size. I think it measures out to about 67 by 84. So that should look nice on her bed or wherever she wants to keep it. I hope she likes it. I think it turned out really nice, and I'll just do a close-up of the quilting so you can get a sense of it. As I said, it was a pantograph, so yes, it looks pretty neat. I think it looks really cool, and it just reinforces why I bought a long arm, and I'm very happy that I did so. So I hope she likes this, and now I've got to get on to my nephew's quilt, which again is another UFO, but I need to get it up on Lucy and get it quilted. So I will give that to her at Christmas time, and I hope she likes it. She should. So yeah, I'm happy to give that one away because, as I've said earlier, I'm getting in the mood now where I'm going to give my quilts away. So now I've got to start on my nephew's quilt. And my nephew's quilt, I have one already picked out. It's an unfinished object, a UFO, and I just have to get it quilted. So maybe later this week I can get on with that. I'm working on another project right now too, which was a table runner, a Christmas table runner. Yes, another one. This one was an impulse buy. I went up one day this week to a store north of me, by about half an hour north of me. And I've been to this particular quilt shop before. It's called Quilter's Cupboard. And I don't go up there very often because of how far away it is, and also their prices are more than I usually pay as well. But I went up there purposely to see what they had, and I bought 25 fat quarters to work on another quilt, which I will talk about on the Idiot Quilter. But I also saw this kit for making a Christmas table runner. So yesterday I started working on this. I actually have the top just about done. I just need to trim it up a little bit, and then I can quilt it. And because this is such a small piece, I don't think it's worth laying it out on the long arm for quilting it. I think I will either do it just as a simple walking foot quilting pattern on my domestic sewing machine, or I might actually put it on the embroidery machine and do something there. And I'm kind of thinking that's what I am going to do. So I will probably show that to you next week because I'm planning to get it pretty much done today and tomorrow. So that takes me to the YouTube channel of the week, and this one is called Babble, and it's kind of a mishmash of a lot of useless information, but it's entertaining. So here's my review of that. This week's YouTube channel is called Babble, and if you want a completely useless waste of time that will just let you go into a comatose state, then this is the YouTube channel for you. What's Babble? Well, Babble talks about various things that are sort of trivia based, but they're not things that will be earth-shattering to your life. For example, the 10 most popular fast food items from the year, top 10 Tootsie Rolls, top 10 most popular McDonald's menu items, 10 sneakiest food business tactics, top 15 hilarious knockoff food brands, etc. As you can see here by the titles of each of the videos, they are definitely clickbait. However, I did take the bait, and I've watched a few of these, and, well, they do make you think. But I wouldn't take a lot of this seriously because, well, I don't think it's meant to be serious. I think it's just meant to point out some little known facts about things we don't really think about or care about to keep us entertained. So if you want something that's entertainment based but is pretty much mindless, then check out Babble. So you will find the link for that YouTube channel in the show notes below, and you'll also find the link for the latest Stephen and Walter Live, which yesterday was a whole lot of discussion about the situation with my mother right now. Sorry about that, but yeah, that took up about a good 45-50 minutes. And I'm going to say a little bit more about that, as if you hadn't heard enough, about my mother today in my next segment. And I've got a frog in my throat. Excuse me, I don't know why, but it's there. I wish it would just croak. Okay, so the link for Stephen Walter Live is in the show notes, and what else I have in there? The Idiot Quilter, episode 136, more Christmas stuff, I called it. That's in there. And there is our latest Sew Chatty, and that was Walter's sewing adventure. And Walter tells you all about the 3 days he spent with a designer, Ron Collins, in a workshop setting where he learned a massive amount of information about garment making and altering and tips and tricks and things like that. He was coming home every day quite excited with the new stuff that he discovered with that. So there is a link to that whole discussion in the show notes as well. So what's pissing me off this week? Well, I'm not pissed off. I'm upset. Okay. And I warn you, when I'm upset about things, I tend to become very sarcastic. Humor, dark humor, I warn you now, is basically a coping mechanism for me on things like this. For things where I feel completely inadequate, or things where I feel that I should have done it a different way, I should have done something a different way, or I'm at fault. And so right now, my mother, of course, is not doing well. She was in the hospital on Friday. I got a call at 4:45 in the morning from the nursing home, said that her oxygen levels were low again. They've been low since August. She's been on oxygen since August. And they felt that she needed to be sent to the hospital. They wanted to have her x-rayed again to make sure her pneumonia had not come back, and all that kind of stuff, right? They're taking all the precautions. So they sent her off to the hospital because of the restrictions about visiting people in the hospital at this point in time because of COVID, of course. I could have gone over to the hospital as well, but I felt, what point is there? My mother these days has been somewhat non-responsive, pretty much non-responsive. I wouldn't be able to get right in where she was being taken in emergency. And I would just sit there all day because it would be an all-day affair. And it's not like I was there to pick her up and take her back because I can't do that. I had to arrange for a private transportation system, ambulance system to do that for $300. Yeah. But anyways, so I waited. The hospital was supposed to call me. I called them first, of course, to find out what her status was. At that point, they had just taken some blood. They had checked her vitals. Her vitals were good. And I guess the doctor came in and saw her, and he felt around on her body. He or she, I'm not sure what the sex of the doctor was, not that it matters. And my mother did become a little responsive at one point. She sort of went ouch when she was getting poked in the lower abdomen area. So they wanted to do a scan to check that out, probably looking for like a bowel obstruction or something like that. And I needed to give my consent, and I did, of course. And so off she went and had all that done. Well, about around 3 o'clock in the afternoon or so, I got a call from the hospital telling me that she's fine. Yes, her oxygen level is low, but that's because my mother breathes very shallow E, I guess. And because she is primarily always in bed, that contributes to her breathing difficulties as well. But as far as anything what the scan found, her lungs were clear. That was fine. The doctor thought she might have had a touch of diverticulitis. Oh, I can never say this word. I don't know why. But it's a thing in the bowel, basically. A lot of people have it. I think I have a touch of it too. Last time I had a colonoscopy, they told me I had this. And they put her on some antibiotics as well, which seems to be the thing that doctors prescribed for everything, isn't it? Antibiotics, which is fine. And so I made arrangements to have her picked up and taken back to the nursing home. Of course, they couldn't do it, the company, until about 6:30 that night. And it was 3 o'clock in the afternoon when I was making those arrangements, but fine and dandy. She was probably sleeping anyways, so, So anyways, around 8 o'clock that night, I gave the nursing home a call and said to them, did my mother get back okay and everything like that? And they said, oh, yeah, she's there. She's in bed, of course. And, they were administering what they were supposed to administer according to the doctor's orders and all that kind of stuff. Okay. But they did tell me, too, that they were having some difficulty getting food and fluids into her because she was not accepting much. She was kind of clamping down. And I thought, that is not good. So the next day, Saturday, I decided I'd go over and see my mother. Now, the problem here was they'd had 3 cases of COVID on my mother's floor in the nursing home about a week ago, or so. And they had it contained and everything like that. But of course, they stopped anybody from coming in and visiting. However, on the weekend, they supposedly were lifting the restriction. Well, lifting it partially. They were allowing anybody who was listed as an essential caregiver, they could go in. Of course, you're being tested as well before you actually get beyond the lobby of the nursing home, which is fine. And so I called them up just to make sure that I could go over, and I'm the only one on the essential caregiver list. I thought my sister was on it, but she's not, but I'm changing that today, hopefully. Anyways, I went over, I got tested, I went up to see her. Oh, this was a little bit of a shock. She was sitting up in bed. Now, as I was walking into her room, I could see her sitting up in bed. The TV was on. I thought, oh, good. She's better. Whatever. No. It was like Night of the Living Dead. She is staring at me. Her mouth is absolutely clamped shut. Like, this is the way she looked. I can't even do the imitation. It was like, okay. She was not even blinking. So I said, hi, Mom. How are you? Nothing. Not even an effort. Her jaw is just clamped shut, and she's looking straight at me, and she's not even blinking. This was strange. This was weird, okay? So I said, okay, Mom, do you know who it is? Because she had sort of a vacant look in her eyes as well. Says, it's Stephen. Nothing. Not a flinch, nothing. Like, no sign that she recognized. There was no sign that she even knew that there was anybody in the room. I didn't know what to do, really. I mean, my mother has been pretty non-responsive for quite a while, like, but usually I get a grunt or something like that, right? Today it was nothing. Not a thing. So I talked to her some more. I tried to carry on a one-sided conversation. I really didn't know what to do. But she was not acknowledging that I was even there. So I thought, I don't know where she is right now, but she's not here. So I went out and found one of the nurses. Well, earlier that day, a nurse called Nurse Betty, I've never met this lady, but Nurse Betty is how she introduced herself. And she was telling me that she was having a very difficult time getting medication into my mother, and that my mother was not drinking, was not taking food. She clamped down. And I saw the signs of that when I went in to see her, because on the little tray they had pushed up to her bed, you know, one of those hospital trays on wheels that slide in over the bed kind of thing, there had to be about 6 to 8 cups of fluids. There was orange juice, apple juice, chocolate milk. Chocolate milk's one of my mother's favorites, mine too. And other things, ginger ale, water. All there was straws in it. Like they had been trying to entice her to drink something, and they brought her a wide variety of selections. But she was having none of that. So the Nurse Betty on the phone, she was trying to be sensitive, okay? But basically I said to her, look, you're not going to upset me. My mother's dying, isn't she? She says, well, I really can't say that. I didn't want to. I says, I understand. I said, it's okay. You don't need to sugarcoat anything for me. I have been expecting this for a while. I've been preparing for this. And she said, well, she says, well, your mother has a no resuscitation order, right? And I says, yes. And she says, now this is the second time she's been in the hospital and they're not finding anything. She says, you have her at a level 3. They call it something, care level or something like that. I call it DEFCON, okay? 4 levels. DEFCON 3, I'm not really sure what they do with that, but she recommended we go to DEFCON 2, which basically means that they will do any tests they need to give. They'll do it in-house. They don't send her to the hospital, and essentially they look after her medical needs there, okay, and keep her comfortable and whatnot. DEFCON 1 is palliative care. So that's where we're headed towards, I think. Anyways, I said, yes, I agree. I think we should put her on DEFCON 2. What do I need to do? Apparently there's a form I have to sign. So I couldn't do it when I went over on Saturday because it has to be done by the administration. The administration aren't in on the weekend. So I sent an email yesterday off to them, and hopefully I'll hear something this morning back about that, and I'll get that done. And at the same time, I'll get my sister and my brother-in-law and Walter all on the essential caregivers list, because I think this is the beginning of the end with my mother. I really do. She could rally again, but she has been progressively going downhill for the last, well, ever since my father passed away 7 years ago. But it has accelerated since she got into the new nursing home, which at first, you know, she got in there, she was quite perked up a lot when she was there. New surroundings, nice new paint jobs, everything. The help there the staff are wonderful. They were at the old place too. Both are owned by the same company. So, you know, I thought this might be very positive for my mother. Well, that soon, as you know, went down the tubes with that. She won't get out of bed at all. They tried to get her up and around. I have lectured my mother till I'm blue in the face about the benefits of getting up and about in the wheelchair, you know, but no, she won't do it. As you've heard me say before, my mother is extremely stubborn and obstinate. And if she doesn't want to do something, she's not going to do it. So, back to Saturday, I was over there. And when I came out of her room, I found one of the staff there. and I was talking to her, and I said, and of course, you know, they're trying to be positive about things, and bless their souls for doing that, you know, because they have no idea how a family member is going to take what they tell you about the loved one, right? So I said to her, my mother's essentially dying, isn't she? She wouldn't say that. She wouldn't, you know, because she really can't. But yeah, she said it wasn't looking good. And I said, I saw all the cups there, and I said, she's not taking anything, is she? She says, nope, she's got her jaws clamped right down. And I told her about my grandmother, my mother's mother. My mother's mother was 93 years old in a nursing home, and she decided that that was it. She'd had enough. She would not accept food. She would not accept anything to drink. She clamped down her jaws. A wild, a jackhammer couldn't have opened up her jaws. And my mother's doing exactly the same thing. So, as I said to the lady, she says, well, the staff member, your mother is a very stubborn, strong-willed woman. And I said, yes, she is. And I said, well, maybe she has decided that this is her time to go. And she's going on her own terms. I said, I don't know. I said, thank you so much for what you do. I know you're keeping her comfortable. I know you're doing everything you possibly can do, and I really appreciate it. And so that was the end of my visit with my mother. And I have been sitting near my phone, well, it's always with me, anticipating I'm going to get a call someday soon, very soon, I think, telling me that my mother is gone. I've talked to my sister about it. I've sent an email to my brother. I've had no response from my brother, but that is not unusual. My brother's in BC. My sister is very stoic about it. She says, well, you know, what more can we do? And my sister's absolutely right. What more can we do? I've already started, well, that didn't start. I don't want to be caught, rented lips, off guard when it comes to the funeral arrangements. So I've pulled up all the information that I need for this, based upon what I went through 7 years ago when my father passed away. And that one, I was taken off guard. We all were. We didn't expect him. He hadn't been sick. He just woke up dead. Okay, you know what I mean. He died in his sleep. And I had to deal with all that. Now, this time it's going to be a little different. I know what to expect. I know that going in to the funeral services place, I'm going to get the hard sale. They're going to try and sell me everything under the sun. There's a guy there that has been bugging the ass off me for the last couple of years about making pre-arrangements for my mother and all this stuff. I finally had enough of him, and I told him, look, when I need your services, I know where you're located. I'll call you. Stop calling me. And he finally did. But then a week ago, out of the blue, I got an email from him about, again, prearranging things, you know. They love to do that. They make it sound like it's so much easier on you if everything's looked after. And maybe so, and maybe not. But I also know that what they're trying to do is, you know, basically line their own coffers. So anyways, I have everything prepared and ready for this. My sister is prepared for this. My brother, well, I don't know. We'll see with that. So I'm sitting and I'm waiting, and I feel completely inadequate. I keep saying to myself, have I done enough? Is there something I'm missing? Is there something I could have done? Is this my fault? Because the way my mother was looking at me, it was almost like she was absolutely pissed off with me. And I imagine she probably was. My mother does not like hospitals, and they took her off to the hospital. And I'm sure in my mother's mind, I did that. It was my fault. I'm the one that sent her to the hospital. It wasn't, but you can't convince my mother of any of these things right now. So, yeah. This is not unusual. My relationship with my parents has always been, you know, if I wasn't the type of person that tends to have a very strong sense of responsibility and duty, and loyalty, I would have probably moved far, far away, like my brother did, from my parents and never had much to do with them again. But I didn't. Um, yeah, I am upset right now. You know, is it bad to wish your mother would just pass on? Because I have to admit something to myself. My life would be a whole heck of a lot easier if she was gone. I know that sounds horrible to say. I know that. But right now, the quality of her life, there isn't any. There isn't any at all. I have tried over the years to, after my father passed away, I tried to do what I could do to give her a good quality of life. When she first moved into her apartment, I mean, she was still mobile. She could still drive her car. I tried to get her interested in some courses and things that were provided for senior citizens. I was going to go with her. I looked at the catalog for these things and, you know, um, I told her, if you see something here that's of interest to you, why don't we take it together? I'll come and pick you up and away we'll go. No, it wasn't her cup of tea, is what she said. It got to the point, my sister and I were getting her groceries. My sister was doing her laundry. She wasn't doing anything for herself. I put everything in place that I possibly could to make her life easy. And it still never was good enough. And I should have known better. Because anything that I ever did as a child was never good enough for my parents. Ever. Ever. So why should have that been any different? But I did it because she was my mother. Somebody had to look after her. My brother's in BC, he can't do it. My sister had her own children that she had to look after and do things with. So, you know, no kids, what the heck? Fell on me. So, anyways, maybe this sounds like I'm complaining. I'm not really complaining, I'm just being realistic. I just did that stuff, but was it enough? Was it enough? And I keep going through my head to the moment that led up to her getting into the nursing home and that has led up to this moment in time. And I'm thinking, is there something I missed? Is there something I should have done? Is there a way I could have turned this around? Because my mother's not that old. Not by today's standards. She's 81. But when I saw her yesterday, or on Saturday, and looked at her, I don't know who was occupying her body, but whoever was there was not my mother. So, yeah. I'm sitting here, and I'm expecting a call sometime this week. Who knows? Maybe she'll rally. I doubt it. I doubt it very much. If she does, great. We carry on. If she doesn't, we handle it then. So, yeah, that's the kind of mood I'm in right now. Sorry, it's a downer. I'm not looking for sympathy, okay, or anything like that. The one thing I do here on my vlog, as you know, if you've been with me for a while, is I'm very upfront about what's going on. Someone told me once I wear my heart on my sleeve. I'm not really sure what that means, but yeah, I guess I do. If it means that I share what I'm thinking, my emotions with other people, then yeah, I wear my heart on my sleeve. Okay, let's get off this topic, shall we? And move right on to, what have I bought? Well, I bought more filament. I've still got some filament out there that I'm waiting for because I've been 3D printing like a mad fiend, as always. And you need filament. And that's about the only thing besides that pattern I told you about, the kit for the Christmas table runner. That's about all I bought in the last little while. I am waiting for my pantographs to come. Those are the patterns that you trace with the laser light when you're doing quilting on the long arm. And I just noticed this morning that they have arrived here in my city at the post office, and I'm supposed to get them probably tomorrow. So that'll be nice. And I am waiting for another thing that I ordered from a company called Silly Moon out in BC. I'm a little iffy about this. I heard this company interviewed on a podcast that I listened to. They make acrylic rulers for ruler foot quilting on long arms and domestic machines. I took a look at their site, and I ordered one of the rulers to try. It cost me about $40. Shipping was cheap. It was only like about $3, which was pretty good. It's coming from BC to Ontario via Canada Post. However, there was a catch. That didn't have any tracking. If I wanted to have tracking, it was going to cost me $16. And I thought that was a little pricey. So I took a chance of not having tracking. Now I'm thinking that may have been a mistake. I was reading their fine print on their website. They're nasty. The tone of their fine print was nasty. It basically said they're not taking responsibility if on tracking or on lost packages. They're not giving you a refund, only if, or an exchange, only if the product comes and it's been damaged by them, not by Canada Post something else. And I thought, wow, have you had bad experiences in the past or what? That left a really bad taste in my mouth. So I'm waiting. I have no idea when I'm going to see this ruler. It's been over a week now since they said it had been shipped out. I give it this week. If I don't see it this week, I will contact this company and we'll see what kind of attitude I get then from that. Do remember, I have a YouTube channel, people out there that run small businesses, and I'm not afraid to use it. So we'll see. Maybe it'll be fine. I'm hoping it'll be fine, because I really don't want to have to give a bad review to a Canadian company, a mom and pop kind of thing. So we'll see. We'll see. Okay, so what's that take me to? Well, 3D printing, of course. What have I been making? Well, on Thanksgiving dinner, not this past weekend, the weekend before, I had made for my niece that dice tower, because she's major into Dungeons and Dragons, and I guess they use things like this for the game. I don't know. I've never played the game. And so I made her a dice tower. It was huge, and I think I showed it to you. I didn't know if she'd like it or not, or even know what it was, but yeah, as soon as she opened up the bag and looked in, she says, "Oh, a dice tower." She knew exactly what it was, and she loved it. And I thought, well, this is great. It made me feel good. I'd also given my nephew has a wicked sense of humor, and he's a Maple Leaf fan, the hockey team, and the Maple Leafs have not won the Stanley Cup since 1967, okay? It's become a bit of a joke here in, the hockey world, I guess. I don't follow the hockey world, but, when you mention the Maple Leafs, everybody says maybe this year, the diehard fans, and it never seems to be this year. So I made him this little knick-knack, which is 3 Stanley Cups. One's fairly big, and then a medium-sized one, and then a smaller one. So it's a progression. And there's a maple leaf. The logo for the Maple Leafs is on the front of each one. And at the base of each one, I wrote, on the first one, the largest one, 1967 champions. On the middle-sized one, medium-sized one, I wrote, maybe this year. And on the little tiny one, I wrote something like, it's never going to happen. I didn't know if he'd get it or not. As soon as he looked at it, he started to laugh. He knew exactly what it was like. We probably share the same sense of humor. So anyways, I was happy that they thought those were, even though they were gitchy kind of things, that, they liked them. Now, I said to my niece Sarah, since she's major into Dungeons and Dragons, I said, well, if you go onto Thingiverse is the site I go to get a lot of my 3D models. I said to her, if you go to Thingiverse and you see some Dungeons and Dragons figures that you like and you want, let me know and I'll print them out for you. Well, then I did some exploration on my own, and I found one site that had all the major, I guess they're the major characters for Dungeons and Dragons, and you could print them out. So I spent this past week printing these all out, and I'm going to give them to Sarah at Christmas along with the quilt. So I thought I would insert a little video showing you what these look like. So my niece is into Dungeons and Dragons and the game, and apparently there are all these figures or characters that they use in the game, and you can buy these online apparently. well, they look better than what I have here. And I think you can buy them already painted, or in some cases, people, I guess, paint their own and customize them. But I found a 3D print file that would make all of these characters. There's 14 of them in this set. And I've printed them all out at this size. I don't know if this size is appropriate or not. But my plan is to give these to my niece maybe at Christmas time or before. I don't know if she'd like these or not, but they were kind of fun to print. Had a few problems with some of them. Some of them I had to do a little bit of gluing afterwards, but I think they're kind of neat. And so now that I've got those done, I'm making these. These are Christmas trees. I found a thing for them. It's hollow. It prints it hollow. It's very, very light. Almost feels like paper. It did print a bottom on this particular one, but I can cut a hole in it and put a little tea light in it. I think it'll glow. But I'm going to make a bunch of these. And there's a couple of other different designs. And I'll make them in different sizes. And I'm going to use them as decoration at Christmas time on the end of a table or something like that. I might actually put them in my living room, my formal living room, which we never use, on the coffee table, because I think a little display of these in different colors and with lights in them the whole bit will look really cool. So I'll show you other ones. That's really neat, the way the light, you know, the geometrics on this, the way the light is, you know, reflecting off it. That's the word I want. Find your words. So yeah, so I'll show you what more of those. This is this week's project on the 3D printer. Okay, so what's that take me to? Okay. In my continuing series of my travel videos from my last trip to Australia in 2019, I have another video for you, and this one is for Cairns, which is northern part of Australia. It is where a lot of people will go there and then do a trip to Ayers Rock from there. That's the big red rock kind of thing. If you've ever seen Priscilla, Queen of the Desert, you'll know what I'm talking about. But anyways, here's my little video about that excursion. Okay, so we've got our bags checked at the airport, and we know what gate we're supposed to be on to get to Cairns, and we're flying Qantas. And we're sitting here right now trying to connect to the Wi-Fi, which isn't having much, we aren't having much success, but we're waiting for our brekkie to be prepared. And we fly out. Boarding starts at about 9:50, it says. So right now it's 7:50, so we got about 2 hours to kill. We're here in plenty of time. It's a small airport. And I don't know. It's okay. As airports go, I guess.
What was that guy say ahead of you in the lineup with the bag? I think he sounded like he was flying out on Friday.
Yeah, he was going on Jetstar today, and then he had a connecting flight or something, or taking a flight Qantas, and his baggage tag said Jetstar. So I don't know if he could check his bag through there, or have their checks, or their bag check is down at Jetstar.
I would think it would be Jetstar.
That's what I thought. I don't think he had much experience with this, but then again, it doesn't matter how much experience you have. Airports are confusing. But one thing that they had right there, real quick, there was somebody to help. Because we were having an initial little problem with ours going through, and there was a lady right there and helped us right out, no problem. So, which is something you don't find at Toronto that often. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. It all depends. Ironic. They're really good at helping in the airport, but when it comes to serving you food, that's a different thing altogether. So this is a shot of the Brisbane Airport, domestic side. Why, it feels like a second home on this trip. The number of times we've been here now, this is 2, then we'll have...
Well, we were on the international side.
Yeah, I know. But we'll come back through this side, and then we'll leave on the other side. So here's what we're flying out on, maybe.
No, actually not that one. It's the one next one over.
Oh, next one over. Okay, the one in behind this one. It's a plane.
For Amanda Brown, travelling on Qantas 52333 for the Gladstone. Please see the Qantas wing staff. There will be one like that.
As long as it flies. So we've made it to Cairns. I can't say it.
Cairns.
Cairns?
Yeah, they don't say the R.
Oh, okay, Cairns. Sounds like something on the French Riviera. But anyways, we're here. This is our room. So you can see we have a sitting area with TV, little dining table. We do have a little tiny balcony, which I suppose is enough for us. Looking out onto the busy street below. Not sure, we have to go out and discover what's out here. We have this kitchen area here, so we have this lovely breakfast bar sort of set up on here. So when we entertain thousands of people, we have this as the bar area. And in here's the kitchen, and you have a microwave, combination microwave convection oven, hot plate, the sink, coffee maker. Oh, but if you want French press coffee, there is a French press. However, it will cost you $7 to use their French press, which is Queensland Blue. I don't think we'll be doing that. Got a little fridge, which is fine. It's not a huge place. This is the bedroom. As you can see, closet's not too big, not a lot of storage space in there. Then we have the bathroom. Now the bathroom has two entries, one from the hallway and one from the bedroom. And it's got a, sink, toilet, bathtub, shower combination. And we do have a washer and a dryer and a sink in here as well for, a laundry sink kind of a thing. And so this is going to be our home for the next 6 days. And we'll see whether or not we've made a mistake staying this long in Cairns or not.
I was only going to stay 5 days, but then...
well, then our flight got screwed around. So anyways, I'm sure it'll be fine, peaceful. It is hot. It was, 31? But with the humidity, it's 38. See, so it is warm out and moist, as to be expected now that we're in a tropical climate. So we'll go out later. There's a Woolies down the street apparently, and there's a liquor store. That's important. We have to stock up on supplies, and we'll see what we see from there. So we came outside to see what the facilities are like, and they have this pool right here, areas to sit. That's what the outside looks like, the balconies that face out to the pool. Nicer balconies than what we've got.
I think the rooms were more expensive.
Probably. They have this little sitting out area here. So, that'll do. So this is our initial impression of Cairns. It's down by the waterfront. Yeah. Little splash pool, it's huge. And all these vendors out here. Okay, so we stopped in this place. It's pretty much a pizza joint kind of a deal. What Australians do best, pizza. And I don't mean that sarcastically, they actually do. This is what it looks like. And we're right across from the water. Tide is out by the looks of things. It's a bit muddy. Yeah. So today we're just going to take it easy after we've had lunch here. Then we'll stagger over to the BWS, which is the bottom shop, and to the Woolies, pick up some stuff, and do major looking around tomorrow. Tomorrow's Sunday. And there are things I'm finding bugs.
Yeah, there's ants. These green ants.
Green ants. No, they're friendly ants, but I don't want them on me. So we had a couple of ants on us, which we brushed off, and Walter's looked it up, and this is what they look like. And what are they called?
green tree ant.
Yeah, right there. One of mine.
No,
They're
that
coming
is-
out of the tree.
Yeah.
Okay, just clip one off my neck. You may be eating them. Your first impressions of Cairns?
Actually, it looks like a nice little place.
Yeah, and there's actually a little bit more here than I thought when we first drove in down the streetway. Actually, the flight was okay.
Yeah.
It was pretty full, but it wasn't a huge plane.
It was a 373, but not a max.
It's not a max, yeah. Okay. so we got here
373
in-
800. But
And-
they've been in service for a long time.
I mean, it only took 2 hours.
Yeah.
The flight. I mean, we spent more time taxiing up to get us off than, well, not really, but I was surprised because,
Well, actually, it didn't really surprise me. It said their flight was going to be like 2.5 hours, but yeah, they always
Yeah.
overcompensate.
no, it was an okay flight, and I got 3/4 of the way through that movie with not the strange beast, the what's that called?
Grimwald or
Gridwald or whatever.
Fantastic Beasts or whatever.
Yeah. And you used your iPad for that to watch it. They don't have it on the back of the seat, but we already had the app that you need to connect to it, so which works pretty good.
I don't think you get anything on Jetstar.
No, probably not. No thrills on Jetstar. That was
Qantas.
Qantas. Yeah. Guess they don't use the symbol of the koala anymore for Qantas.
Here's kangaroo.
Yeah, use a kangaroo now. Oh, don't like the koala anymore. No, well, koalas are bitchy. Whatever, but it's kind of nice here. It's hot. It is very humid, too. It's like 38 in the humidity. Very tropical. Yeah, well, after we finish our... What is this, goat beer?
Yeah.
What was
We
it?
had goat before, remember?
Oh, yeah.
Remember when we were at this place and I said, get gold, and you got goat.
Oh, that's right. I guess it was my accent you didn't understand. Oh, yeah, bring that up. I just got that on
Sorry.
video. Jeez, next thing you'll be farting. God, like that doesn't happen often.
Oh.
So, anyways, next after we finish our beers, we're off to go to Woolies and the liquor store. And this is the art gallery. Check that out sometime this week. And down here, they've got this pedestrian plaza kind of a thing happening. And we're off to Woolies and the BWS. Now, here's something you won't see in our country. Now, at first glance, this looks like chunks of stewing beef or whatever. It looks really delicious, but read the label. Paws fresh or made chunky mince. This is dog food. And they also have cat food, finest mince for cats. And kangaroo, meaty bones for your dog as well. And then you can get the big bowl of roast turkey and steamed vegetables. Again, this is dog food. Dog food. And so now we're back at the room. Well, what are we doing? Watching Aussie television. We always seem to hit the food channels for that kind of thing, for some reason. You can see this is a huge television screen. Not really. But we just got our feet up. We just got back from the grocery store, from having lunch, and of course, the BWS, which is the bottle shop. And stocked up there. They had 3 bottles of Jacob's Creek. It's raining. Sauvignon. Oh, it's raining here now. Well, it did say around 4 o'clock there's 50% chance that it would rain. But we have a feeling that it rains a little bit every day here because it's a really tropical type of climate. Kind of like when we were in Singapore. It used to do that. You could sit and watch by it in Singapore. It seemed to rain every day at around 2:15 for half an hour and then stop. We'll see if it's like that here. But anyways, we're a little pooped. So tonight we'll probably just rot. Okay, so these things flying out here are called fruit black bats or flying foxes. They're the world's largest bats. And there seems to be all kinds of them. They eat fruit and nectar. They're not carnivores. It's friendly with bats. Well, the nuts a little. Well, mine's not. Look at them all. They land over in those trees and hang upside down. You probably can't really see it. Fascinating. See, there they go. They hang upside down the tree. See it in there? See where he's hanging upside down? There he is. Well, that's really something. Not something we've ever seen before.
So that takes us to events in the past week. I've already talked about my mother. We're not going back there. So Walter was on a course, as I already mentioned, with a designer, a fairly significant designer, Canadian designer called Ron Collins. He has an association with Janome, and he is excellent when it comes to sewing garments of all types. He's basically self-taught. But he has designed patterns and things for Vogue. So you can find his, if you go to the Vogue website and put in Ron Collins, you will find his patterns. He makes a lot of men's clothes, which is nice to see. And they're nice. They've got a flair to them. They're very creative, and they use color and fancy stitching and things in a very effective way. So Walter had signed up for this course. And it was for 3 days. It wasn't an overnight thing because it was right here in our own town. It was put on by or organized by Brendan, who you probably have seen my interview with Brendan. He's also the person that Walter takes his classes virtually from. And he put this all together, and Walter came back every day just so excited with the things that he had learned. I kept kidding him about being a fanboy for Ron Collins because, well, Ron Collins is not hard on the eyes either. So, anyways, he'd come home just gushing, Walter would, about what he learned that day. And it sounded like it was well worth the money. In fact, we have done a whole So Chatty, the one we just put up on Friday, episode 30, where Walter talks in detail about the 3 days and what he learned and shows you some things as well. So if you're interested in garment sewing, that kind of thing, do check out the latest episode of So Chatty. So anyways, that was great for him. And I kept myself amused while he was gone on those 3 days. I already told you that I went up to a fabric store and bought fabric, and I quilted Sarah's quilt. And so I was busy as well. I'm always busy. I like to be busy. And what else happened the last week? Well, Rolls and Swirls, my long arm dealer, she had an open house and had 25% off. So I went in and stocked up on some threads and some other things. I actually bought some spare parts for my Lucy. Not that I need them right now, but you know me, I like to have spare parts because me and machines, I love them, but they love to hate me and like to do things that I don't expect. So I'm just planning ahead for things. So I bought a few extra parts that I might need in the future. We are actually going into Whirls and Swirls tomorrow, Tuesday, all day, for a course in how to use our Lucy. It's a free course that comes when you buy one of these machines from APQS. And I guess we're going to learn all about general maintenance and other things. I'm not really sure what we're going to learn. But Tracy at Whirls and Swirls, the owner, operator, service technician, and she's a certified service technician for APQS machines. And she's really, really good. She told us, give it a few weeks after we got the machine before you take the course. It'll mean more to you. And yeah, I think I definitely agree with her, because I have learned on my own, we have learned on our own by playing with the machine some things. We have some questions for her that we have prepared as well that we want to know the answers to. And so, yeah, so I feel that after that, we've had that course, we are well set up to, really get the most out of our long arm machine. So that's coming up tomorrow. In fact, that's about it. Oh no, there's one other thing coming up this week. I guess I've jumped now from events in the past week to what's coming up. And I should follow my notes a little bit more carefully. That's why I have them. So, the Quilter's Way, which is the online membership group that I belong to. You've heard me talk about it many, many times for quilters. They're having a 3rd anniversary bash. It's been 3 years now. Hard to believe that this has been up for 3 years. And there's a schedule of events. A lot of it, Kim is doing it on, Kim is the owner, doing it on Facebook Live, I think. I don't know why they used Facebook. I'll have to ask her that, because this is for members only. And usually, if we have something that's live, it's done through Zoom. Because on Facebook Live, we can't really participate in it. Well, we can with the chat mode, I suppose. So I don't know why it's going on Facebook Live. But anyways, it's there. And she's got some interesting things. I printed out the agenda. And on the Friday, we're having a live special event held in the Quilter's Way, which that one is that open to everybody? Yeah, it says it's open to... Okay. Okay, that one's a Zoom. Open to everybody. No, wait, no. Okay, I see. I'm reading this schedule wrong. Sorry about that. TQW members only is our live event. I guess that's a Zoom. But then later in the day, at about 6 o'clock that night, she's having the TQW Anniversary Bash kickoff party. And that's open to everybody, and that's on the Facebook page. And, oh, okay, I get it now. I see what she's doing. She's has opened all the rest of the events for the whole weekend up to everyone. And so in order to do that, she's doing it on her Facebook Live. That's why it's that way. Okay, answered my own question. You see, if you read, you figure these things out. So anyways, that'll be fun. I'm looking forward to that as well. And yeah, and we'll see what this week brings, i.e. with my mother. Okay, so I hope you have a good week. I'm hoping this week will be a good week. Don't know how that works out. And yeah, so I'll have my idiot quilter up tomorrow. And so Chatty at the end of the week. I'm not sure what we're going to be talking about at the end of the week. So Chatty is something that's... I don't want So Chatty to be just a repeat of what I say on this vlog or in the Idiot Quilter. Sometimes there's a little overlap, but I'm trying to keep So Chatty strictly about sewing, and quilting. and spending our time on those topics specifically. But we're running out of stuff to talk about. So if you got suggestions, I'm all ears. Drop them in the comments. Send me an email. There will not be an Idiot Quilter Presents interview this week. Why is that? I'm out. I have no more interviews. I have my appeal out there. I still do. I will interview anybody. Okay? So if you're interested, don't be shy. Let me know. Yeah. Okay. So that's the week. I hope it's a good one for you. I hope it's a good one for me. So we'll see you next week. Bye-bye for now.